right, welcome, Shamika, Michelle. Thank you for joining me. Got a great topic for us. A mother captured on tape. She went to visit her daughter's high school because her daughter came home and complained that the school was forcing them to register to vote. And the mother was quite upset because obviously this was a black mother, and they were registering her daughter to vote, clearly to vote for Kamala and against Trump. And the daughter complained, and the mother went to the school and seems to have secretly recorded the conversation. It's quite interesting. Let's watch the mom talking about her daughter and this experience.
You pulled my daughter out of class and you told her that it was mandatory for her to vote.
No, I didn't say it was mandatory.
So that's what she told me. These are her words, that she said it was mandatory that she votes.
No, ma'am. But go ahead. Finish telling me.
Okay. And that you projected your fears and insecurities on her, telling her if Donald Trump was elected, black people would be doomed.
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. So let me say this. I am a minority inspector.
Okay.
For 1016. And you know, as a minority inspector, you never, ever, ever discuss politics or your beliefs or anything. I didn't say black people would be doomed if Trump becomes president. We did have a conversation about policies and different things like that. You know, you were asking me questions, and I was telling you about some of the policies that he had and some policies Harris had. So we did have that type of conversation.
I don't think I was really asking questions. I think I was just really as much as so like, right, yeah, right.
So you was just like agreeing, like talking?
No, I'm not really, I don't really care about it, so I'm not really engaged in the conversation as much. I'm just like, okay, like, right.
So you didn't ask me any questions at all?
No.
Okay. I didn't feel like I was projecting anything on her.
You are by telling her anything that you saying you didn't say black people be doomed. She's saying you said it. I'm going to believe my daughter because she would not lie to me about something like this. Why would she lie? Why would she?
Like, I asked if I could do it later, and you're like, no, it's kind of like, no, you have to do it now, kind of mandatory. And I'm like, I don't.
Did you feel like I was pressuring you?
Yeah, she said she didn't want to do it at the moment.
Did she speak to me, honey?
Yeah.
Did you feel like I was pressuring?
Yeah, I asked if I could do it another time.
This is insanity. High schools, and it doesn't surprise me. And again, this is what cheating is. High school kids, I remember I didn't care who the president was. I didn't have a strong opinion about it. And there's other parts of this clip where the woman says, yeah, we're trying to register any kid who's 18 years old, blah, blah. And this woman's daughter is 17, but will be 18 by the time of the election, November 5th. The mother was like, hey, I don't want you all talking to my kid about the election. It makes perfect sense to me, but this is the type of corruption that we have baked into our electoral process. Your thoughts as a mother of 3 young women?
Jason, I saw an article where it's also happening here in North Carolina in Gaston County. Someone posted that that's what they're doing to the children in the high schools there. And as a mom, I would be livid. Like, I feel like this mother handled it very well. She was very nice. She didn't, there were no moments of shade. I probably would have thrown shade. I would have been a lot more passionate. I would have given them a 1-2 punch because I just think you're overstepping your boundaries. Even if you were feeling like, we just want to get these kids registered, to say anything, in my opinion, it wouldn't even be your place to answer questions if the child was asking questions about the election. If the child was asking questions about the election process, like, oh, what happens when I go and place my vote? Now, that's maybe something you learn in school, in civics, or, something like that. But I think to cross the line, to even give answers about policies, I think is just too far. And it just shows me not only how corrupt the Democrat Party is, but how emotional people are over elections. And we're seeing, I just had this personal incident happened in my own life, Jason. We had our high school homecoming this past weekend, and I wore a Trump hat. Well, one of my friends, we've been friends for over 40 years because we grew up in the same church as well. When she posted the picture, she decided to put hearts over Trump so that nobody could see it was a Trump hat. And I felt very disrespected by that. And her response to me was, how do I answer for that? How do I hold space for you knowing that we disagree? And I felt like that was the most overly emotional BS that I had ever heard. We've been friends for 40 years. First of all, it's my hat and it's my head. Secondly, you shouldn't have to answer for anybody on my political beliefs. Why do you feel like you need to? And so people are just so emotional right now that they are just being very irrational and making terrible decisions. And I 100% believe that that woman crossed the line and crossed boundaries with this young child. I definitely do.
So some people will watch this and see this, and their initial reaction and belief will be, well, they doing the same thing out at these white schools. I guarantee you, out in these schools where it's all white, they making their kids register and they're making them all vote for Trump. I guarantee you that's the reaction.
My kids registered to vote when they were 16, when they all got their license. But I can genuinely say that they have chosen who they're going to vote for based off of what they believe. My kids are anti-abortion. They believe in freedom of speech. They see their mom and they have gone with me to the gun range. So they're pro 2A. They vote genuinely based on what they believe. And I would not be standing there looking over their shoulder to see who they voted for, nor would I have an issue with any of them if they voted differently. When it came to my oldest daughter back in 2020, she was the only one of my kids legally able to vote. I took her with me to a rally in Beverly Hills, and I was pretty sure before that she was definitely going to vote Democrat. When she saw how they treated her mother in comparison to how, Trump supporters treated her mom, that made the decision for her, because her thing was, Mom, they're calling you a bigot, yet they're the ones calling you out of your name, sticking up their middle finger, hollering at you and telling you what you can and cannot do as a Black woman in America. So to her, her eyes were open, like, they're the real bigots on that side, and she didn't want any part of it. So I don't. I mean, there are probably some people that are pressing their kids and saying you have to do this, but I know my children are voting a certain way, genuinely based on what they believe is right and true.
My answer to that would be, guys, you have an immature outlook. You don't these suburban schools. They got the same liberal teachers as the ones in the inner city. And so trust me, the teacher unions and that whole profession is woke and liberal. And so it's far less likely to happen at these suburban schools than what you actually think, because the people actually running the school, they're all Kamala, Democrat, Obama supporters. So there is no, well, white people are doing it too. Nah, miss me with that. This is us. I do want to I want to read the statement from, I think this is the commissioner from Gaston County, or the commissioner, the campaign manager for Gaston County. My name is Reed Brunick, and I am the regional organizer for the Kamala Harris campaign for president here in Gaston County. I work directly with the North Carolina Coordinated Campaign, working to get Democrats elected up and down the ballot through the community organizing and outreach efforts. I'm reaching out because we have an exciting opportunity for your students to get involved with a local political campaign. The North Carolina Democratic Party is looking for high school students interested in getting involved with the campaign and learning a bit more about local, state, and national politics. The fellowship would be roughly 5 to 10 hours a week, and the fellows would work alongside the staff in terms of talking to voters, helping to run office, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, it won't be paid. Anyway, this is in your county. I'm sure there's a young Republicans movement recruiting high school kids. I think that's all fair and in bounds. Getting kids to, influence or talk to other kids. I think that, but when it's an adult pressuring a student, bringing them out of class, we're going to register you to vote. It's just not the proper role. Let parents handle that. Let kids decide that amongst themselves. Some woman using MSNBC and CNN talking points to walk your daughter through policies and stuff like that. It is crazy. It's insanity. It's further proof. These elections are rigged. They're rigged in all different kinds of ways, and they're not evenly rigged. I know everyone, the Republicans do it too. I'm sure they do some rigging, but it's just not to the depth and the level that we see in the Democrat Party. Shamika, thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you guys next time. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.